oka chatiana bemanga ne koya ngon ko chama na tela jurma bedoya anu konna ngon fala oka chana tela jurfa ma olo zoyale anu tera ngon fala oka chale babale dole sudeko.
Welcome. We have two presenters here today. We have Ikenna, Ubaka, and we have Lord Ajmer. And they are going to talk to us about their experience with the sustainable community in Gambia. So we're going to start off with Lord, and I want you to tell us about this sustainable project, what it's about, where it is exactly in Gambia.
Great, exactly. Greetings to everyone. Once again, I am Lord Ajmer, and I'm working with the Ubaka Loan Project in the Gambia, West Africa. I don't know if you've seen the video yet, but if you have, it's a 3-minute video with the founder of the project, Ubaka.
Well, it's about 80 feet past that big tree there, on the other side of that big tree. About 80 feet on the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
you said, where's that mahogany tree?
the big mahogany. That
Okay.
Big, big
gotcha.
tree there. Mm-hmm. All the way over to there. You see our eco brick quarry there, where we mine, where
We have, almost, almost 4 mahogany in the field. Mm-hmm. Mahogany tree.
almost 4.
So we're on our journey, we're on the path. Tell us a little more about it, Brother Ubaka.
Well, we're in Tabakalone village. We're being escorted down to the village by Dimbo Jetta and Yankuba Jetta, and myself. And, this is the land that I, along with others, we decided it is communal land. And the central focus of the land is sustainability. And we will be doing the fencing very soon for a huge garden in the middle, along with a production shop and 6 eco lodges for guests when they come. But our target goal for 2015 is 2 guest lodges, the production shop, and perhaps getting at least 90% complete on the library as well.
And so our friends back in the States, how can they support this kind of a project?
They can support it knowing that a little bit goes a long way here. Mm-hmm. And one of the driving force behind this whole land base is for those in the diaspora, those who want a land base / economical base / residential base on the continent of Africa, and would like to have a place where we could bring our young people out of America for periods of time to help, as they say in Gambia here, to help them learn how to move with people and appreciate one another better. So that's one of our central targets, along with being self-sustaining. We want to be able to assist in saving the lives of some of our young people, and they can interact with the young people here. And it would just be a win-win situation for us here in Tabakalone Village, the country of the Gambia.
Okay. Well, we're going to hear a little bit more as we get into the village area about how the construction is going to be done, because I know you're very much concerned and an advocate, a proponent for taking care of the environment. So once we get there, I'd like you to just tell us more about how the building and construction is going to happen. All right, thank you so much. We'll be back. This is my travel log from the Gambia on March 16, 2015.
Ubaka Mosi, he's the founder, and we've been associates for a very long time, my brother. And I can't reiterate or say more than what he's already said. But what I can do is address how I became involved with the project and where we are now. And I would start with saying that I've been a part of the project since inception. I was told that this was going to happen, and he actually, Abana, went to Africa, lived there for 5 years, did some travel around the continent, and looked for the best place for to start the project. He came back, he told me that what he found and what he had developed, or relationships that was cultivated, and we sat and waited to see what was going to happen, basically, and they started growing, and he said, I need to come. And time went on, a few years went by, and he said, you really need to go and check it out and see what's going on. It's a lot of development. I would do very well there based on my skill set and direction. So I finally did say, it's time to go. So we went, and we saw it was exactly what he said. All the opportunities, all the things that were there was, as he described, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But you know, in terms of you can't do better than that, because you're in your motherland. So you have to not necessarily romanticize, but also understand that you take everything as it comes. And I saw it. I saw the opportunities that are there. There's lots of opportunities, as we would know, because the Europeans know that it's opportunities there. That's why they tell us not to go. And that's why most of us don't go, because of the propaganda in the media and the way that it's directed. And so we went, and the people received us, and it's been very positive since we got involved. And the development of the Tobacco Village is moving quite along. I'm actually working on my Eco Lodge now. I just came back recently, about 30 days ago, with that, from doing the surveying and checking on the blocks and getting the layout done and everything. So that was really exciting to be able to actually have land, first of all, and to be able to build your own property.
How much land is there?
We have what is called in European terms hectares. They don't use acres, but a hectare is 2.5 acres, so we have 7 hectares of property, which is being developed as a green, sustainable eco lodge retreat. And so it's designed for all the members, which is about 6 of us. We've grown members because it was a land giveaway. It's actually, the land was free, not to us. We actually are purchasing the land overall, the Tobacco Partnership, but the participants actually receive land in order to participate to actually get the project moving.
So you said the land was free, but you purchased it. Can you explain that?
Absolutely. In order, the village is Tobacco Village, and the agreement that Obama made was a 99-year lease on the land, and so there was a fee for that, because the villages need money. You just, they have plenty of land. Africa is not lost for land, and so, but the people who hold the land gave an agreement on a 99-year lease. You can actually purchase it, but the 99-year lease is is less expensive to get into because you wouldn't have to come up with all the upfront money and all the fees and blah blah blah. So we did a 99-year lease, and so that was what we are currently in. Even though it's changing now because of the time, we're going to change it and actually just pay the land off, so it'll just totally be ours.
So you have the opportunity to do that.
Correct.
Because I know in some communities throughout the continent, you cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can only lease it for 99 years, and then after those 99 years are up, it cannot even be delegated to the next generation in your family.
Right, right. Laws are changing. A lot of people are leaning towards different ways of doing business. And with the 99-year lease, though, we are changing it now because some of the partners have acquired their residency, so it kind of changes the whole process up a little bit more. I have just required my residency for Gambia. So that is one of the things that is being offered through the participation with the Tobacco Loan partnership, is like the things that we learn and go through in relationships, we are passing that on to other people, so that if they decide to make the transition or want to make the transition, those roads will be paved. Because if you go to Africa just by yourself, you're going to have a bad experience, and there's no need for that.
Right. Right.
So you need to be
connected,
definitely connected. You need to have orientation by a person that's going to tell you the truth and give you a good orientation. So you won't, we have a love for the Africa and the continent, and it's taught in us, but we have to, once again, not romanticize it. I cannot say that enough.
Right.
Because a lot of good people have a lot of love, and that love turns into hate because they had a bad experience. And so to prevent that, you have to educate them and be willing to be educated and move forward from there. So that's what we're doing as the retreat is going through the process. We've done that.
Right.
So those roads have already been crossed, and you don't have to cross them unless you want to. And so for the diaspora, that's what we're offering to the diaspora. To the villages, we're offering the connection with us, the reconnection, and also as far as economics go, because it's an economic development center as well as an eco lodge and retreat. We're bringing our technology and our energy and be able for them to have jobs. We create jobs, and we having a manufacturer built. So we coming with artistry, we coming with technology. So we'll be teaching all these different things: methane gas collection, solar power, production, farming, all the different technologies, computers, filmmaking, all these different aspects that we have throughout the collective of the people that we have connected with us, and we're bringing that to them to show them that here you can do what we're doing.
So what kind of skills are you bringing forth to the community?
Currently, my skill set is business, and I do import export. So I'm actually working with inside of that area. So all the areas that I work in the film industry. So I'm bringing the motion picture film. I'm working, that's additional with photography. So we also have other skills in general contracting and on and on. So it's just these areas, as we use them for ourselves in development, we actually are going to create schools. Which here in turn creates jobs, because when we build the eco lodges for ourselves, everyone won't stay there, but there'll be housing to be rented out to tourism. So now the villages have to maintain. You have a person do everything for everything. Somebody to be your cook, somebody to be your driver, somebody to be security, and you can afford it because minimum wage in Gambia is less than $36 a month.
Wow.
So you can employ and help a lot of people, with a reasonable salary for them. You can double their salary. You get $50 a month, $100 a month.
So how is the reception of the people there as well as the government?
Well, the Tobacco Loan Project partnership tends to stay under the radar. They don't particularly deal with the government or operate in a way we have to say, well, we care whether they receive us or not. It's like stay out of the way, just move in and just stay, under the radar if I can't describe it in a different way. I operate differently. Being in business, you have to associate yourself with a lot of different types of people, and government officials are some of them. So I move differently, have a tobacco loan project, as I said, currently, even though we are going after a loan from the embassy. The embassy is offering loans to development projects in the Gambia, and so we are going after that, which we have to, and then in turn incorporate local residents, villagers, and people to be directors of the project. But as long as we are part of it, that is the most of the extent of what we have as a tobacco loan partnership doing with the with government participation.
So I believe I attended one of your presentations when you came back several
Absolutely.
months ago, and I remember something about the president there seemed to be welcoming the people.
Right, absolutely.
People from the African
Absolutely. What he does is called the Roots Festival, and they've been doing that for I think 14 years now. And that is they call themselves the Smiling Coast. And what they do is they open up the Smiling Coast to the diaspora Africans to come and reconnect to Africa. And so they've been doing that for a while and still promoting and marketing it. The next Roots Festival is in May the 6th through the 13th. And that is this year.
Okay.
I'll be there for that, and
Okay.
all is welcome to come.
Okay. All right.
And so that's one thing that the president is doing. Besides some other initiative, he actually one of the things that was in the news that he did for what would be called for women was the female manipulation that was going on. He actually banned it in Gambia.
All right.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
that is one
Very
of the things
good.
that he just recently done.
Okay, we have your good friend Ikenna
Yes,
Ubaka, who also visited
Absolutely.
Gambia, and I want Sister Ikenna to let us know, Mama Ikenna, what your experience was like when you traveled there, and what did you get out of it, and do you see yourself possibly living there?
That last question is my favorite one, and I'm going to save the answer until the end. So again, my name is Ikenna Ubaka, and yeah, it was a wonderful journey. I traveled with the Kingdom Group last March, and I originally got involved with the Kingdom Group because I was providing administrative support for their import-export business. And so basically they were importing moringa products and and jewelry, and wanting to sell those items here. And they were also exporting items to the Gambia, such as the cell phones and books and computers. And so, as I said, I was just doing the admin work, and slowly I began to learn more about the big picture. Like, really, why are you doing this import and export? And that's when I was introduced to the Tobacco Loan Project as this development of a community that would engage us as Africans of North America with the continental Africans. And I was like, well, I definitely like to know more about that. So the opportunity came to travel over there with the group, and initially was to look at the businesses, how to expand on the import and export, but certainly since we were going to be there to find out more about the Tobacco Loan Project and what type of opportunities there are for us as the Africans here in North America to partner with our brothers and sisters there. And wow, there's so much that I could say about the trip, so I have to think about where to focus my comments. So, Mama Nabantu, maybe you can point out some of the specific things that you'd like the participants in the summit to know about from that, because as I said, I was able to look at it from a business point of view. I was able to look at it from the cultural exchange, being a woman over there, being able to look at, what the reception and treatment is like for us as women, as females. So there's so many different aspects of that can be talked about.
Well, did you feel welcomed by the community of the indigenous people, the native people that actually live there?
I did. Oh, that part felt good because, we always hear about, oftentimes we hear about there being a ridge, some tension between us coming over and how we'll be received there. But that was not my experience. I was warmly welcomed, really felt like family. Mm-hmm. One of the things about the Gambia, in terms of the language, we didn't have a language barrier because they speak the same ugly English that we do, but they're very open to also teaching us, the indigenous languages, which was very nice. And yes, definitely felt welcomed, everywhere that we went. I would say the only startling aspect is when you refer to as a white person, that they use the word tuba, I think it was, and it hurts. It's a stinging statement, and they don't intend it that way. What they're talking about is that you're from the United States, mm-hmm. and that you have some of those same types of nuances, that are pretty much, we're indoctrinated into that if you're raised in the United States. And so some of them see it as a compliment, when they're saying that, they're trying to recognize that you're different. So that would be the most startling part, and just being able to explain to them that as a person of African descent, coming home to the motherland, that we really don't want to be called Europeans and any
white.
Right. Mm-hmm. So once you get, when you have that experience and you get by it, and they understand it, then you usually don't experience that anymore. Now, if you're a person that's really stuck in your American ways,
that name's gonna stay with you.
That name is gonna stay with you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
But no, I didn't experience that. I experienced the welcoming part. Really loved being with the sisters there and around the children. And
I was going to ask you about the children.
Yes, yeah. One of the things we find is that as visitors come in, they want to sometimes they want to treat the adult and the children in a kind of a subservient way, like we're better than everyone else, and they want to come in with trinket gifts, with used clothes, with old books, and they feel like, well, it's better than what they had. Well, think about it. Would you really want that to be your gift? Mm-hmm. So I saw some of that going on with our own folks who are coming as visitors and missionary groups, and definitely see it in large part with the Europeans that are coming over. But the other part that kind of hurt was going into the village and seeing the schools, very dilapidated school structures, and finding out that the primary support that's coming in to help build and sustain new schools are, coming from the Dutch. It's basically coming from Europeans. And that was one of the areas that I thought, okay, when I go home, I really want to help us organize around doing ongoing support in the areas of education.
Great. Wonderful.
So these schools were being named after, the Europeans who are donating the money, and, because I'm looking for an African name for the schools. So, you have to ask the question as to why something is that way. Mm-hmm. So, what my takeaway from that experience of visiting the schools was, when we organize to give, let's give our best. Mm-hmm. Let's send really new books, or if they're going to be used, that they're gently used books and materials. If we're sending clothing, let's do the same thing. sidebar about the clothing. That whole idea of gathering up boxes and boxes of clothes, oh my goodness, I found out a truth on that um, I really want to spread far and wide with us. That is disruptive to the economy. Why? Because one of the main ways that money can be made over there is in the creation and distribution of African attire.
I see.
And even if it's not cultural attire, just making their own clothes, but instead they're getting shipments and shipments of used clothes. So that kind of
That cuts into the economy.
It's
I
cutting
see.
into the economy. So it's a temporary fix, and it's a long-term problem.
I understand that.
Yeah, so these were some of the things that you just begin to notice, and when you ask questions, because they don't want to seem unappreciative, they really don't want to bring up the kind of problems that we're causing. They want to stay in the mindset of saying, well, thank you and do whatever you can. But some of those things that we are doing is detrimental. So we have to look at other ways to
Well, we
address it.
appreciate your honest comments on your experience there. How would you recommend other people coming to this community in terms of possibly bringing their skills there?
Well, I really like what the Tobacco Loan Project is doing, because you're taking an area that's underdeveloped, and you're partnering with the indigenous families that are there. So this way, the interest is everyone has a vested interest in the development and what's going on, instead of us imposing our views. It's very difficult, I think, for us to get away from the fact that we have been very much indoctrinated in Western ways. And if we come to the motherland with our ideas, most of the time we're going to feel that what we're offering is better, because we're looking at it through the lens of where we were raised.
Exactly.
So what I like about the Tobacco Loan Project is that it's a partnership with the indigenous families.
Right.
And so it's not a takeover. It's not coming in and imposing the ways of the outsiders on it. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity, because with the village, all of those areas are being developed. There's a medical center that will be as a part of that. There's a school, library, and then there's the housing. There's the retreat site that you heard Dr. Lord Ajmer talk about. And there are businesses. All of this will be part of the Tobacco Loan Village, but it will be developed hand in hand to totally benefit those who that is their native homeland, and it will become our second home. As we do work together with it.
Well, it really sounds like a great project, and the collaboration that I see that you're talking about is very feasible, and I hope one day I'll get a chance to come and visit. And Lord, before we complete our interview here, I want you to sort of answer that question too, in terms of what would you recommend to other people who are considering, maybe repatriating back to different parts of Africa, and in particular Gambia.
I can't say it enough. Research. Do your research.
Okay.
Keep researching, and then take some trips, travel, visit. That's the only way you're going to really know. Gambia is not for everyone. Senegal is not for everyone. A lot of the countries that, find your fit. Find your fit. Research. YouTube can take you around the world and give you an idea of an experience that you wouldn't. You can save some money at by going there. And then if you see some place that you're interested in, then check it out. Talk to people. Connect with other people who have traveled and find out what they have done. I think it's imperative that you do make a move and you do something in that regards, because if you don't, we may find ourselves in a place that's not going to be well received. And we do have a place, and that is our homeland or our throne land, and that's the continent as they call it, Africa. So I would say just research, have a strong heart, stick with your thoughts, and if your mind tells you to travel and go, do it.
All right. Well, I want to thank, you have,
I wanted to
okay.
add one other thing about traveling there. There are so many, like what Dr. Lord Ajmer was just saying, doing the research, there's the extremes. You can settle in on an area that will allow you to live a very simplistic life, a grassroots. You know, you're the one that's planting the seeds. If that's what you like, if that's what you would like, the Gambia offers that, the Tobacco Loan Project offers that, and there's others who offer that. If you want a life of opulence, you know, and splendor, you want all of that, it's also in the Gambia. So, you know, sometimes when we're talking about development of our projects, it's not as attractive to someone because they're thinking of only about the that grassroots aspect. But you may want to, you know, begin by living in the city and living a life of comfort, and then beginning to acquaint yourself with the basic lifestyle and developing your property and getting an opportunity to live with nature and see it grow from there. So that question that you asked me early on, would I see myself ever living there? If you had asked me that years ago, it was an absolute no. But having traveled a few times now to West Africa, I definitely see that. And for me, it would be a transition. I would start off living the life of comfort because, you know, our savings, what we take over there, would allow us to do that. But I would see myself transitioning to that closer to nature lifestyle because it's much more peaceful, makes sense, it's healthier, you know. But I recognize that it's a process for some of us, including myself, to be comfortable with that. So, you know, so I just wanted to add that part for those who currently are shaking their heads saying, no, I would never live in the village. That's how I once felt until I got to the village and really met our folks and felt what it was like being in that environment. So it might change your mind, but both things exist.
All right. Well, I want to thank you again. I may not have said who I was initially. This is Nobantu Ankawanda. I'm part of the Black Sustainable or African Sustainable Summit Collective. And I want to thank Dr. Laura Ajmer and Sister Mama Ikenna Ubaka for sharing this information about what's happening in Gambia. And do you have contact information that you can share with us if people would like to get more information? Lord?
Well, I do have a website that I have up now for people who are interested in repatriation, which is repatriatesolutions.com. All the contact information, emails, what have you, would be there as well. So you can take a look at that. And then as we develop that website, you have more things to look at, videos and pictures, and that would be the best way to contact me for more information.
Okay, what was the name of that website one more time?
repatriatesolutions.com.
Okay. Ikenna, is there any way we can reach you?
Well, the best way to reach me right now would be through the Sisters of Tomorrow, which, by the way, we did contribute medical supplies to our village when we visited in the Gambia, and we intend to continue doing that in other outreach. So, Sisters of Tomorrow, you can reach us at the email address sotatlanta@gmail.com, sotatlanta@gmail.com. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and I look forward
Thank
one
you.
day to traveling there to Gambia. All right. Take care. Peace.
Peace.
get our house in order. Let's get our house in order. Let's get our house in order. Oh, get our house in order. Let's get our house in order. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Let's get our house in order. From the big sister to the little brother. From the granddaddy to the youngest mother. Let's get our house in order. Cause if you don't, they'll do it for you. From the inside to the border. Gotta get your house in order. From the cool air to the running water. From the inside to the border. So much to do. Rise above your struggle, put on your strong suit. Family sitting all at the table. Tell me